Police Services, Deputy Director Sergio Garcia, and from the City of Jackson Fire Services, Deputy Chief Tim Gonzalez. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and we invited you here today so we could thank you and the men and women for your service. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, on 9/11, this National Day of Remembrance. It's also a National Day of First Responders. And you guys, you're both younger, much younger than me. Do you remember where you were and where you heard 9/11?
I do. I was in my first couple years of patrol. I was patrolling day shift when I heard it come across the radio. Wasn't exactly sure what was going on. It was hard to get the context via radio, so I went to the station to see what was going on, and everyone was gathered around the television watching what was unfolding.
The world stopped. I mean, everybody just froze. By the time noon arrived, it was the city. Everyone was pretty much in lockdown, weren't we?
Sure, just the fear of not knowing what was next and where this was coming from. I mean, was it a random act of terror, what it was, and just a whole lot of questions without a whole lot of answers.
Tim, do you remember where you were when you heard the news?
Yeah, I was a little younger. I was senior year in high school, and I was actually just getting out of my first hour sports class, headed into the homeroom, and it was on the big old school TVs up on the top of the ceiling there, and pretty much just gathered around and watched that the entire day.
I think most schools sent everyone home. I remember my kids were in college, and I think we called and said, "Hey, come home." We didn't know. No one knew. Mm-hmm. I remember also that we had people in Jackson, first responders that wanted to go to New York and help out. I think we had some medical personnel. We had a dog, bomb-sniffing dog that went from Jackson to New York. So this changed, this really how police and fire services do their job. What are some of the lessons that we see today and how your departments are run that are a result of those terrorist attacks?
I think from us, I think just that enduring reminder, I think for any first responder of you don't know what the day's gonna bring. You get that next dispatch, you go do your best to handle that one, but truly not know what the day brings. So I think that 9/11 for all first responders is that chilling moment of what we signed up for and what we got ourselves into. So I think maybe from a mental mindset from the officers and the first responders, just the reality of the world and what the day could bring. As far as our response, though, we just didn't know what we were up against and what we needed and how to respond. So I think a lot of the questions were the why, the how, and trying to sort through it and figure things out. So I think through technology, some other things, we're much better off than we were then, absolutely, in that regard. But just information sharing and just I think that opened a lot of lines of communications, I think nationwide, from different law enforcement agencies, federal agencies, and things like that really helped on our side.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I think is very obvious to the community is that when something happens, you leap into action. There's so much can happen in those first minutes that there's no thinking about it and taking time to grab stuff. It's like out the door, right away.
Yeah, and really on these large scale events, something like 9/11 or any of your big scale, the interoperability of both police, fire, EMS working together, being able to communicate so that they can fix the problem. Interoperability is really key in order to handle a lot of these large situations. And I think something like a large scale event, obviously 9/11 is a grander scale, but just the ability to work and communicate together to effectively solve a problem.
It seems like that was impetus for a lot of people to get into the service, particularly in the fire department. There were and military people, they went down and signed up like the next day. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was a call to service, almost.
Sure. Yeah, it was wonderful to see how just the whole nation came together. Mm-hmm. It was really inspiring.
Well, it's also led to training, which is pretty intensive. And just I think this week, over the last few days, you've been training for what, a particular event or?
Yeah, so this week, actually today concludes a 3-day training, a countywide training where we've had multiple jurisdictions from law enforcement, fire departments, all throughout the county, working together for a active shooter or mass casualty event. And like I stated before, on these large events, the importance of being able to communicate with law enforcement as well as fire and EMS in order to solve a problem is paramount to the success of things that happen like this. So we really focused on one about the tactical side of it, but also on the strategic side of it, is communication in our departments working together.
I remember years ago there was training. It was pretty much just the SWAT team for these, or whatever you called it at the time, for these kinds of occurrences.
Sure, an active shooter response, absolutely. I think that, like Tim said, the silos have been torn down. First responders from all the walks work together now. It's not our training, my training, we're training. It's we're all training, and the doors are open, the invites are out. So those silos have been long torn down, and we're all trained together because ultimately our community and the public deserves it.
It seems like our community is, we've had these cooperation agreements in place, but even without, you don't hesitate about crossing government boundaries to get to the scene first.
I'm sure it's in the same boat as we are, but no, the call comes in, doesn't matter where it's at, we're coming to help. We understand the strain on resources, things that this can create. We count on those outside agencies as much as they count on us.
Yeah, when you work together, you train together. When the real life situation happens, it just makes it that much easier. You fall back on that level of training, and so being able to see those first responders on the training site makes it a lot easier when something really does happen.
We've had a chance to see you guys over the summer in the community and interact with you and your department. We had a couple of events. One, I think, a series, the Summer Safety Series, at various parks. Mm-hmm. I think both parts of your department were at these
Yes.
events.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although, Tim, your trucks were late to the last one at the MLK Center.
Oh, that figures.
Yeah.
That figures.
You were on a call.
Actually,
Right?
yeah, that's right.
That's right. But you had a good turnout. You guys gave bikes and food away and stuff.
As well as smoke detectors. And my prevention was down there giving out free smoke detectors to all the citizens.
You also had your first ever fire academy for.
Yeah, we hosted our first ever
Yeah.
future female firefighter and first responder, the law enforcement as well as EMS. A huge success.
Well, we have a photograph from that series for you that you can take back to your department.
Wonderful.
This is our I've Been Framed photo of the week. One of your attendees in full gear. I think you got some people interested in fire service?
Yeah, we did. As a matter of fact, we had some of those cadets that were actually out there at the training today, taking part in the training. So I think we did inspire some.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for this.
And we also, a few months ago, had the law enforcement memorial where we honor those who have lost their lives and paid the ultimate sacrifice. And that's something you guys do every year. It's I don't, very important.
Absolutely, every May.
We, I think, even have family members of those who were killed in the line of duty that come in every year for this.
Absolutely. They put a carnation in the wreath to represent their loved one that was lost.
Did you work with Officer Bono?
I did. I did.
So it's a memory that's, I know, still raw to this day.
Absolutely. I think every law enforcement officer down there does, remembers him, and a lot of tattoos, a lot of memories, a lot of things in honor of him. He's a great man.
You are always looking for the next generation of firefighters and law enforcement first responders. Are you guys hiring right now?
We're always taking applications for our cadet position. We have recruits where we send right to the academy and sworn officers. So absolutely, we're looking for those that want to come down and make a difference in their community.
And you've got a very young staff.
We do. We are actually going through the process of hiring one at the moment, and we got a lot of great young talent from the local area. So really excited about our future.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming in today. We here at JTV wanted to honor all of those who put their lives on the line for our safety and protection. And so thanks for coming in and being part of our show today.
Again, thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
it.
Thank you.
Always good to see you both.
You as well.
From the City of Jackson Department of Police and Fire Services, Sergio Garcia and Tim Gonzalez.